Hi, this is TapCat, and today we're going to talk about the third and final Chosen from the upcoming XCOM 2 War of the Chosen DLC. With the release of his inside look video, as well as some juicy tidbits of information gathered elsewhere, I'm happy to say that if you'll give me the next 6 minutes, I'll give you the inside scoop on the one and only Hunter. Meet the Hunter. Unlike the other Chosen, he appears to have a sense of humor, and he may well be hunting the commander more for the challenge and thrill of the hunt than out of any real loyalty to the elders. Unfortunately, I think we can still count on him trying to interrogate, even kidnap our soldiers to the best of his abilities, as he tries to gain information on the whereabouts of the commander. So let's talk about the skills and equipment this self-proclaimed hunter brings to the chase. First, like all the Chosen, he'll enter the map early in the mission and look to identify his target. We can generally expect him to start on the opposite side of the map, but that won't stop him from firing a tracking shot to identify his chosen victim and keep track of him anywhere on the map. Thankfully, his laser sighting beam will be visible, and we'll have a turn to break line of sight to prevent the hunter from shooting. But as we continue through the mission, this will be an ongoing threat, and it should be interesting trying to navigate some maps in particular without getting shot to pieces. Now, if you're wondering how he can shoot tracking shots or anything else from so far away, the answer is not squad sight. No, the hunter doesn't need anyone else around to put you in his sights. He's capable of seeing the entire map all by his lonesome. His only real restriction is that he has to have line of sight in order to shoot. In one sequence in the trailer, he appears to shoot and kill 3 XCOM soldiers in a row during a single turn. In normal circumstances, firing either his pistol or rifle will end his turn, so it seems very likely that he has the sharpshooter ability, Serial. I've heard rumors that he has kill zone as well, but this isn't confirmed, and a kill zone that covers half the map sounds like a nightmare I'd like to avoid, but we'll see. One ability that he's confirmed not to have is Face Off, but that certainly leaves other powers that could be tough to deal with. Aside from an obvious choice like Fan Fire, even Return Fire could be a serious pain as your squad takes shots at him one by one as you try to burn through that big health bar of his. The other ability that we know he shares with all of the Chosen is that killing him doesn't quite take. He claims to have lived 100 lives and is repeatedly shown taking apparently fatal wounds during the Inside Look video. But rather than dying, he respawns at his citadel. Now, we already knew we wouldn't be able to kill the Chosen until we confronted them in their home base. But what wasn't obvious to me at least was that they actually do appear to die, but then be immediately recreated, rather than simply teleporting out and escaping before taking a lethal wound. Now, this bit is just speculation on my part, but he probably has some kind of machinery in his citadel that automatically clones / teleports / resurrects him in some way, shape, or form. Until we destroy that, he can bounce back again and again like one of those inflatable clown punching bags, and that's why we'll never be able to stop the Chosen for good on any other mission map. Destroy his little Lazarus machine and you can destroy him. But again, that's just my semi-educated guess. Now that covers the hunter's personal abilities that we're aware of so far. Let's not forget about his equipment, because he's got some pretty scary toys to use against us. The most obvious is his rifle, which is very reminiscent of the sniper rifle. But the more apt comparison would actually be to the Reaper's primary weapon, because it turns out his rifle only uses one action and can be fired after moving. Worse, he's got a grappling hook and has the potential to move, use grapple as a free action to take an elevated position, and then fire all in one turn. Now that's pretty darn good mobility for a guy that's modeled after a sniper. And this rifle apparently packs quite the punch. Its damage is said to be on par with the Plasma Lance, and it comes stocked with no fewer than 4 superior weapon upgrades. Apparently, all of the Chosen's weapons deal out tier 3 level damage and have the same number of upgrades, so if you can kill one relatively early in the game, it will give you access to a much more powerful weapon than you'd otherwise be able to have, although you will have to research how to use it before putting it to work. But to get it, you'll have to face it in combat first, and I fully expect the Chosen weapons to be wicked lethal in the early game. If they're using some form of crowd control or trying to daze one of our soldiers, that's one thing. But if the hunter shoots one of our Kevlar-wearing corporals with the equivalent of a plasma lance, that sure seems like a one-way ticket to that great HQ in the sky to me. And no, I'm not talking about the Avenger. But enough about the rifle. Like any good sniper, the hunter also comes equipped with a pistol, even if it isn't his favorite option. Since both the rifle and the sidearm end his turn when fired, and since both can also be used after moving, there isn't a big incentive for him to shoot the pistol, most of the time. One condition that affects that logic is that the pistol has significant armor piercing. Although I don't know how many players will try to hide behind a lot of armor, just be aware that if you use blast padding and other tools to pile up armor on a potential tank, then the hunter may be your nemesis. The pistol can also fire a tranquilizer shot to incapacitate one of our soldiers, and this seems like it will be the most common reason we'll see him draw it from his holster. And finally, he also carries concussion grenades, because if there's one thing the Chosen want to punish us for, it's taking a group hug during a mission. Alright, that covers everything for now. If you saw something I missed or have a different take, then by all means let us know in the comments. If you found this video interesting, then please give it a like to help other people find it, especially for a small channel like mine, it definitely helps out. And if you're new to the channel, you might want to subscribe, as I will continue to cover War of the Chosen through its release on August 29th and beyond. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. I hope we see you next time.